What is something that doesn't deserve its bad reputation? Sharks. Black cats. Guy Fieri. What the heck did he ever do to anyone? Chemicals. Chemical-free is marketing crap. Everything is a chemical. Bacteria automatically gets a bad rap. But most are harmless and some are even beneficial to us. There's both good bacteria and bad bacteria. Picking your nose. Sometimes it's necessary to breathe when a mucus boulder is clogging 45% of your nostril. Taco Bell does not give everyone diarrhea. Sleeping in. Disco. If you give yourself permission to like it, you'll be surprised at how catchy and fun it is. Tap water. People have been manipulated by bottled water companies to believe that drinking tap water is somehow bad for you. Water quality standards for tap water in most first world countries is extremely high. Garbage truck man. Why does all people look them bad? They just want to live and take our trash away. Like seriously. Monosodium glutamate. MSG. It's just the sodium salt of glutamic acid. And it naturally occurs in many foods. There is literally nothing wrong with it if used in appropriate proportions. Same as regular salt. But sadly it was demonized as part of the whole racist Chinese restaurant syndrome, that convinced people Chinese food was out to kill us all. The myth prevails to this day. Joan Jett. Bats. Some of the best insect control, pollination help out there. Depending on species. Plus they can give you good fertilizer. But they carry rabies. You know what else can carry rabies? Raccoons. Rabbits. Foxes. Dogs. Opossums. Pretty much mammals. But they can carry cross-species diseases. So do pigs. Chicken. Primates. And now with COVID-19 dogs and cats. I mean, don't go hug them, but they are very useful and unfortunately on the way out. The Wii U. Come on man. It had its issues for sure, but it was still a fun system with a bundle of good content. We got Mario Maker from it. Pikmin 3. Nintendo Land was really cool. You could put your Wii games in it and they'd run just the same. Also those little drawings you could make and share out were neat. Meatloaf Is Awesome. A friend of mine at work is Hispanic. He told me the story of growing up. They never had meatloaf. He said the only thing he knew of it was television shows where kids would say things like, "Ah, meatloaf again?" So he assumed it was terrible. Then one day, he had the opportunity to try it. He loved it. This came up because the company we work for was giving out free lunches last year for those of use who had to work through the early part of the quarantine. One day, they had meatloaf. We both got the meatloaf and then he told me about growing up and thinking it tasted bad. This is one of my favorite stories. Bargain outlets, shopping. Snakes. Majority of them are harmless. I understand if you live in an area with deadly snakes. But snakes are always represented as pure evil and villainous when most are just typical reptiles. Going about their little snake lives. They don't want to bother you. They just want to survive the next day and reproduce. Nuclear energy. Being a night person and sleeping late. Believe me, we work better at night and we can be twice as productive. As someone who likes to build a lot in Minecraft, and writing, the night is my best hour of creativity in the end. I also do all my tasks between midnight and 2 a.m. The rest is to watch Netflix, YouTube, and Reddit. Being unproductive. There's this weird internet culture of people who think if you're not putting every waking second into learning, developing an app, starting a business, curating a hobby, activism, working, etc., then you're wasting your life. It's okay to be unproductive. Everyone already needs to chill the fuck out half the time anyway. Go make yourself some tea and play some video games, you crazies. As in aviation fanboy. Definitely the DC-10. Once upon a time the wide-body Trijets DC-10 and TriStar ruled the skies. Until the DC-10 started blowing off its cargo doors and severing hydraulic lines with it. While all of this is happening, the 70s oil crisis happened and Airbus stepped in with their A300. And proving the world that Airbuses, pun intended, are the future of aviation by maximizing efficiency and capacity in a single package. Suddenly having three-engined guzzlers were too expensive for everyone. And thus securing the slow demise of the DC-10 in the commercial sector until its final flight in 2014 with Byman Air. Genetically edited food. Never Gonna Give You Up. When you listen to the lyrics, it's a pretty decent love song. Fast food workers. I don't get the "anyone can do it" argument. Through my time as a manager, I've turned down applicants for not being up to our standard. And watched all age groups quit because the job isn't as easy as they expected. It's a fast-paced work environment with lots of memorization due to food safety standards. I've worked production, construction, warehouse, and others, but working in fast food isn't easier than the others. Just different. The AstraZeneca COVID vaccine has a pretty bad reputation in some countries and doesn't deserve it. I know I'm late, but FKN veggies bro. When you're little it's such a stereotype that toddler won't like broccoli, but I love M and I have since I was a little kid. MSG doesn't cause headaches and makes food taste better. Genetically modified produce. I think when people mention it, their brain immediately jumps to super bad chemicals that will instantly kill you, instead of modifying a plant's genes just so it could produce more or bigger offspring. Besides, we would probably see less of it if we, speaking as an American here, didn't consume so much anyway. And if you still don't vibe with that sort of stuff, that's cool. But it isn't as bad as people make it out to be. What is bad are companies going out of their way to patent genetic codes so that they can bury farmers with lawsuits, or develop seeds whose offspring will never produce grandchildren. Oatmeal rasen cookies. Not as good as chocolate chip, sure. But they're still tasty.